else noticed how difficult it is to lose fat in perimenopause? If you've noticed this as well, it's not your imagination. It can be really difficult to lose fat in perimenopause, and there's a few reasons for that. For one, a lot of us, this is just a busy season of our lives. If you're in your 40s or your 50s, more than likely you're still shuttling kids around. Some of you all might be taking care of grandkids, or maybe you're taking care of aging parents. Then on top of that, a lot of us are juggling career and family and marriage, and then trying to figure out how to make our health and fitness a priority. In addition, declining hormones does make it more difficult to lose fat in perimenopause. Declining hormones can lead to drops in energy, so our motivation to move and to exercise might wane, as well as our hunger and our cravings might feel a little out of control with these fluctuating changes in our hormones. And finally, if you're in my generation, then more than likely you have spent a lot of your adult life dieting. I know that's totally the case for me. And unfortunately, this does not do our metabolism any favors. So if you have restricted your calories for a long period of time, you might be dealing with some metabolic adaptation. Metabolic adaptation happens when you eat a low-calorie diet for a long period of time and your body starts to adapt to that low caloric intake. So when this happens, you will start to unconsciously move less. So we have a decline in our metabolic rate, a decline in our movement. So this can really explain why it's so hard to lose weight in perimenopause, even if you're eating a low-calorie diet. So today, my friend, we are going to be talking about my 4-part checklist for losing fat in perimenopause. These four skills are something that you want to work on and develop before you enter into a fat loss phase. So that way, when you go into a fat loss phase, you feel ready, you have a plan, you feel prepared, and you have the skills needed in order to have a successful fat loss phase. So I'm really excited to dive into this. But before we do, I just have a few quick announcements. First, I have my free Perimenopause Fat Loss Secrets. It's totally free and you can download it right now by going to the link in the show notes. Inside this free Perimenopause Fat Loss Secrets guide, you're going to discover the 3 secrets that every woman 40 plus must know to lose 8 pounds in 8 weeks and keep it off for good. Go to the link in the show notes and you'll get immediate access. Second of all, I just want to let you know that as of now, I do have a few spots open inside of my coaching membership, Lean Physique. Lean Physique is for women in perimenopause who want physique change. So if you want to lose fat and build muscle, then this is a membership for you. It includes strength training to help you build muscle, as well as hormone-smart nutrition. And what's great, this actually includes one-on-one coaching with me. And right now, I have a free 2-week trial, so you can give it a try and see if Lean Physique is right for you. But inside of Lean Physique is everything that I do as a woman in perimenopause who wants to stay muscular, stay lean, and decrease perimenopausal symptoms. I have a framework that is very simple to follow that is going to guarantee you results. So if you're interested in trying out Lean Physique for free to see if it's a good fit for you, go ahead and drop me a message on Instagram. I'm at cfitness.training. You could also send me an email. I will drop my email address in the show notes. Okay, my friend, without further ado, let's head on into today's episode, all about my fat loss checklist for perimenopause. Okay, so here's the deal. I know a lot of you want to lose weight. I get that. But here's what happens. I see some of you all, I'm going to start a diet tomorrow. But here's the problem. You don't have a plan. You don't know how long you're going to be doing this for. So there's like no end date in sight. Which that puts me in a panic just thinking about that. We're doing things out of a panic, and this is what we want to avoid. And this is why you keep failing at fat loss, is because you get frustrated, but yet you don't spend the time to plan out your fat loss, and you're totally unorganized, and then you go into a fat loss phase. So you go into a fat loss phase trying to be good, and I hope this is going to go well. But unfortunately, those things are not going to work long term. We need to have consistent We need to have consistency if fat loss is the goal, and we need to make sure that we have some kind of plan for that. In addition, we also want to make sure that we have these specific goals at least practiced before we start going into a fat loss phase. So for some of you all, you just need to spend a little bit of time developing the right skills. So that way, when you do go into a fat loss phase, you already have these skills down. It's already a habit, and that is just going to make your fat loss so much easier. And not only that, it's going to make it a lot more enjoyable as well. And if you can make it a little enjoyable, then that is going to increase your adherence. And that is exactly what we need. We need adherence, we need consistency, and we need time to lose fat. So checklist item number 1 is, do you have something to cut from? What I mean by this is, have you dieted in the last 6 months? This is really important information because if you have been dieting for the last 6 months, sometime in the last 6 months, more than likely your calories are on the low side. And this can be an issue because you need to be in a calorie deficit to lose weight. So say that you're eating around like 1,400 calories a day, but you're really not losing at this level. You're really just kind of maintaining. Well, the problem is that you're going to have to drop your calories below 1,400 to create a deficit so that way you can lose fat. So it's not a big deal if you don't care about that. But I'm also going to argue here that you might start to get into that world of, ooh, we're starting to lose not just fat mass, but we're also starting to lose muscle mass. So that's not good either. So I highly recommend, if you have dieted in the last 6 months, to simply just maintain your weight. This way you can focus on other skills such as macro counting or portion control, things like that. And then try to get those calories up to a higher point. So that way, when you go back into a fat loss phase, you're not going to have to cut your calories as low. And I'm going to tell you right now, I'm actually in week 2 of my fat loss phase. I'm doing a mini cut right now. If you guys have been following me for a while, you might know that I actually took a break from dieting for almost 2.5 years. So for the last 2.5 years, I've just been focusing on eating in a slight surplus and also eating at maintenance. There was a lot of maintenance in there as well. And really just focusing on not doing a lot of cardio and really trying to focus my efforts on resistance training. Well, the time has come and I really want a challenge, and I just want to lose 7 to 10 pounds. So I am on week 2 of my fat loss phase, and I'm already like a pound, maybe even 2 pounds down. I am 100% putting all of that credit to the fact that I spent that time not dieting, and I was able to get my calories from 1,400 calories a day up to around 2,200. So I did put on a little bit of weight, and at the end of my bulk and at the end of my maintenance phase, I was maintaining my new weight at 2,200 calories. I'm actually in a 25% deficit, and my calories are over 1,600 calories a day. So yeah, it was 100% worth my time to spend that time. And honestly, I probably didn't need to spend that long, but I'm also glad that I did as well. So know that you don't need to spend 2+ years not dieting, but I would say at least 3, optimally more around 6 months or more, spending that time maintaining your weight and working on skills. That way, your metabolic rate is going to increase, as well as more than likely your movement is probably going to increase as well. So these are great things for the metabolism. These are great things for fat loss. So I highly recommend, if you have dieted in the last 6 months, just chill, okay? Stay at maintenance, work on maintaining your weight, work on developing some skills, so that way when you do go back into the fat loss phase, is smooth sailing. Checklist item number 2 is having awareness around how much you are consuming. Okay, this is so important because a lot of people, they will go to MyFitnessPal or ChatGPT, and they'll have the app calculate calories. Now, this is actually not the best way to do it. This is what I suggest instead. Go ahead and get MyFitnessPal or any other kind of macro tracking app, but start tracking everything and to get a baseline of where you're at now. So no trying to eat better and start cleaning up your diet right away. Here's what we want to do. We want to just eat like we usually do, get some data on that, track that, so that way you know how much you're consuming on average. This is really important because those numbers can be totally different. What you're actually consuming and then your maintenance and also your deficit numbers can all be different. So meaning if you are, say you're eating like 2,500 calories a day, but your maintenance is really 18, and then a deficit is like, I don't know, like 1,500 calories a day, just saying this, that's going to be really tough for you to go from averaging 2,500 calories a day to dropping that by 1,000, if that makes sense. So what we want to do is track for at least 1 week. I would actually say 2 weeks, including weekends. Track everything, okay? Track going out to eat, track little nibbles and bites. Make sure you're tracking things like olive oil, cooking spray, coffee creamer, condiments, any kind of supplements that have calories in it. You want to get a baseline of what exactly you're consuming. Then you can be strategic about setting your calories. So what I would do in that situation, if you were consuming 2,500 calories a day, but when we do calculations, your deficit is saying to eat around 1,500 calories a day, that's really just going to be a recipe for binge eating. So what I would suggest doing is dropping that down to a level that you know you can do. I wouldn't do any more than like 500 calories. So I would say maybe drop that down to like 2,200 calories, maybe at the most 2,000 calories. And then you can start tapering your calories maybe every week or two, working down to that 1,500 calorie goal a day. That's what I suggest. I know it's a slower process, but I'm also going to argue here that whenever you cut calories really low, this can lead to a lot of highs and lows in our nutrition. Trying to cut calories by 1,000, you're definitely going to notice that. That's really the equivalent of like 2 meals. I see this all the time. Most of the time, it's going to end up either saying screw it and then stop tracking. It can lead to binge eating tendencies, and we want to avoid that. We really want to get those highs and lows out of our nutrition. So by doing the step down method with your calories, if you need to, this is really going to help you set yourself up for success. So that way you're not feeling deprived, you're not feeling super hungry, and you can totally just decrease those calories as you get deeper into a fat loss phase. And this is exactly what I do inside of Lean Physique. So inside Lean Physique, it's not just a training app. Yeah, there's workouts. Yes, there is nutrition content. And hey, by the way, there's also menopausal content in the membership as well. But this is coaching, and this is something that I work with you on an individual basis inside this coaching membership. We talk about your goals, we start the weight training workouts, and then we start implementing these behaviors like we're talking about today, gaining awareness of what you're eating and making sure that we have something to cut from. And then I will help you create a plan that is just for you to reach your goals. Honestly, my friend, the DIY fat loss, it's just not serving you. It's okay to need help with fat loss. It's totally okay. I know for me, I work with a business coach for a reason, because I know I need help. I need accountability. I need support. And I also need a plan. So I know a lot of you are trying to figure out fat loss on your own, but how long have you been trying to figure this out? It's okay to need a little bit of help. So don't be afraid to reach out and get more information on Lean Physique. All right, checklist item number 3 for fat loss in perimenopause is being free of emotional eating. Okay, this is a big one. So many of us deal with this. I have a big emotional eating history, and this is something that you can improve. It does get easier with time. Now, this doesn't mean that you have to be perfect in order to lose fat. That's not it at all. In fact, I think that it's absolutely possible to keep your favorite foods into your nutrition, plan for them, and to fit them into your macros even. I will say this, if you are struggling with emotional eating, if you are doing this at least 1 day a week or more, you're probably going to struggle with fat loss. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean that you're overeating if you're emotional eating, but a lot of times it does happen. I will say that if you're doing this at least once a week or more, you're probably going to have a hard time losing fat. It can be really easy to overconsume calories in a short amount of time and really outdo your deficit even in just one sitting. So we need to keep this in mind. So if you're struggling with emotional eating, then there is things that you can do in order to get this under control, to make it less severe, And also find other ways to handle your stress and difficult emotions other than reaching for food. So while we're on that subject, here at C Fitness, I'm actually about to start the runway for Moderation 365. This is my one-on-one coaching program that teaches you how to eat the same on Saturday as you do on Monday, taking out highs and lows in your nutrition that's causing unwanted weight gain. Inside Moderation 365, you're going to discover how to make more moderate choices with your food. So we're not making a diet choice, but we're also not making an all-out choice either. And we're also going to get more in touch with our biofeedback markers with some mindful eating practices. And what's great about Moderation 365 is that all of these practices inside the curriculum are really easy to implement, and you can really just weave them into your day. But I do highly recommend that if you are struggling with emotional eating, overeating on the weekends, yo-yo dieting, that you address this first before you start to move into a fat loss phase. It really does make all the difference in your results. Okay, my friend, we have one more checklist item. Number 4 is you know how to build and structure meals. Okay, so important because I see this all the time with some of my newer clients. Start a fat loss phase and it's like, I don't know what to eat. It's like, oh my gosh, you really honestly should have a plan for the entire week. Like, I would even go as far as tracking your food in advance. I know that sounds a little crazy. I know it sounds time consuming, but honestly, you're going to save more time planning and tracking in advance than you are just flying from the seat of your pants. I promise you. But this is exactly what I'm talking about. Spending the time, maintaining your weight, and then focusing on developing these skills that are really going to help you get better fat loss results. But for real, you really need to figure out some meals that are enjoyable, that are also filling. They have protein rich, and they also have a little bit of carb and fat as well. If you're trying to lose fat, it is easier whenever you're prioritizing whole foods. So foods that come from the earth, like animal proteins, those types of foods, because these foods are going to be nutrient dense. They're going to help you feel full and satisfied and keep your hunger and cravings under control. But learning how to build a plate is something that we learn inside of Lean Physique. We actually have a lesson on how to build and structure your meals. And this is really important because, again, you really need to have a plan for your meals going into a fat loss phase, and not just any plan that you just get off the internet, but I'm talking about your own personal plan. And that's exactly what we do inside of Lean Physique. You're going to discover how to build and structure your meals, but also in a way that you enjoy. Because here's the thing, like, if you don't like cottage cheese, don't put it in everything. Like, you got to find foods that you like and enjoy. And honestly, I really want you to find meals that you even look forward to, even when you're trying to lose weight. And that might also include adding something fun, like some cheese or some sour cream or some fresh herbs or something like that to really boost the flavor. It really goes a long way when you add flavor to your meals, you enjoy your meals, or you even look forward to eating your meals. That really goes a long way with enjoying the process, and that's going to make you so much more successful when you're actually like present on the journey and enjoying every step of the way. All right, that's it for now. Don't forget to grab my free perimenopause fat loss guide. I'm going to put the link in the show notes. You get immediate access. And this guide is going to share with you the 3 secrets that every woman 40 plus must know in order to lose 8 pounds in 8 weeks and keep it off for good. And also, I do have a free 2-week trial for Lean Physique, my physique coaching membership for women, which includes one-on-one coaching. And I have just a few spots open. And if you want to try it first, you could totally do that. Just send me a message on Instagram at cfitness.training, or you can drop me an email. The address is in the show notes. All right, ladies, thanks so much for being here, and I look forward to hearing from you soon. All right, bye for now.